There are times when you have to take a picture and manipulate it to get it back to square so that the corners are 90-degree angles rather than this picture you see here that's quite angular. The reason the picture was angular is it was taken with a digital camera and there's glass in this frame and mat. And if you took the picture straight on, it would get the reflection of the glare of the flash or of the light window behind it or of the light hanging from the ceiling or something. So taking a picture with glass or reflective surface on it, you can shoot it at an angle as this is and bring it to square with what I'm about to show you. So the art image is in this image here, and it's been prepared. It's the image size is like I usually do it. It's something 7 wide or 7 high, and then let the proportion come with it, and it's 400 pixels per inch or DPI. That's the resolution. So now what I'm going to do is use a real interesting tool in Photoshop that allows me to move this thing around like it was rubber paper. For one thing, I'm going to bring down a guideline and put it right in the corner of this mat, and another guideline from the right side and set it there. And so I can see what's straight and what's not. And I'll put one down here in the bottom too. What I don't have to show you is I should have taken a picture of this image straight on. It'll have a reflection in it, but you need something to gauge the width, because as you look at it now, it's been compressed as the angle goes. And when you flatten it out, you're going to have to stretch it or open it wider like a musical instrument, a squeeze box back and forth. You're going to have to squeeze it out like it was an accordion to pull it wider. Okay, now with that going, I have my bounding box showing up. My show transition controls is on, and I go to edit, transform to distort, and then I grab the corner. Now the picture includes the wall at the moment, so I grab the corner and I pull it and I sort of stretch it to the left a little bit, and I get it so that the dark brown edging there of the mat is about straight with this line here. Then I come down to the bottom and grab this corner and pull it until that matting comes somewhat straight to the lower guideline. And then I can straighten this out on the top here a little bit more, because when you pull the top, sometimes it tugs on the bottom. And I'm using my guides. I can't change my guides or else I lose the effect that I'm doing here with distort. I can measure in a minute, but I'm just getting a rough cut thing of going on there. Okay, so it's relatively square there. I'm going to hit my Go tool, and it says apply, and I apply it. That also takes me out of the tool for the moment, but I'm going to realign my guidelines so that I'm seeing them everything level, and what isn't level I can tell. And maybe I'll bring a guideline back here now. Now I have to squeeze this out, but I need something there to tell me when I'm fairly horizontal. This is much too compressed here. The height's okay, but the width isn't. All right, now I go back into edit and transform and distort and do a second round of tugging and pulling. This time I'll just pull that brown arrow or edge up to that point, and I'll start to straighten it out against something, and then take the lower part here and bring that level straight to the guidelines, and maybe pull this nudge over here just a touch down, and I'm getting pretty close to having it leveled out. Okay, so then I say to the Go tool again, click on that and it'll say apply, and I'm there. Now I am going to take out my guidelines at this point. I've got them as straight as I can see. I might work it a little more to get it straight. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a hold of the existing bounding box, this one right here, and I'm going to grab that and I'm going to stretch the image. And if you want to hold the shift key down, it'll roll straight. It won't go up and down. And just pull that image, and And I'm going to tell you when I'm going to stop, about there. Not that that's what the frame has anything to do with it, but as I remember the picture, that is about how it is. The width of the bridge and the length of the trees. I'm pulling a little further like that. Okay, about there, I guess. Okay, and then I say to that, I moved it, so I have to apply that. And the last thing I'm going to do, well, not the last thing, but come inside here with my marquee tool and make sure I'm actually inside of the brown. I might lose an eighth of an inch here or there. And just come back here and put that marquee in there and say image crop. And I can enlarge this a little bit now so I can see more of it. And that Command D takes out the marching ants. If there's any brown showing, you could go back and clean that up either with a cloning tool, expand it, or recrop it again. It's a little dark here as well, so I'm going to go to image and image brightness or image levels. I'm going to go to image levels first. Come on. And bring my highlights all the way to the black area, and bring my black back to this black area, and then use my middle ground to balance the account here. And see, I don't want to get too light and I don't want to get too dark, somewhere in there. Remember, this is a cold November morning, and so I've adjusted the light back to what it is most comfortable being and what I remember having seen it. Now, that then is squared off. I see a little touch of that brown mat up in here. See, I can get up there with a magnifying glass and take a look at that. It's not very much, but I can take one way is to take my cloning tool and get a small brush and just get this sky and just come back up there and clean up the sky. If you've got twigs and bushes there, just take some twigs and bushes and throw it back up in there, or retrim it. It's up to you. Cut the mat. All right, so let's see. Let's go back and look back at the other side here. It seems to be all right. Okay, so that gets us then a straight up and down picture from the angular shot, and I've got it at 400 DPI, and I've got the lens that I took the picture with, the digital lens, was pretty good. So this is a good reproduction. I'd use this perhaps in a catalog or a reproduction on a flyer or a brochure. Being careful of copyrights, I don't know that I'd make a lot of prints of this and take them out for sale, but you can take an image that's shiny and take it at an angle, then recomposite it into square corners, and that will work for you. I won't do it, but I'll make it a point in saying it as we leave this movie. Sometimes you take pictures of buildings, and the buildings on the outside left and right edges are leaning a little bit because of the natural curve of the lens that you took the picture with. It was on the camera. You can cut out the buildings on this side and virtually straighten just those up and put them back in. The middle buildings will be all right. On the other side, you could cut those out, straighten them up, make another layer out of them, straighten them, and put them back in. So there's some corrections that can be done when necessary, especially with a wide-angle lens where the outside of the ends, especially right and left, tend to get distorted. So that's the angle to square movie that should teach you how to solve those problems.